All right, back here on Inside Wrestling Radio. Back up to the interview portion of the show now, and it's my thrill today to have a true legend of the business in the studio with us, Manny Fernandez. He started back in 1979. He's got a rich history in this business. He's done about everything you can do. He's been all over the world, and he's a Navy SEAL, and we'll talk about all that stuff. But right now, welcome to the show, Manny Fernandez. Manny, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Ricky. You and Charlie, it's been great to come out here. You guys invited me down here in this Lawrence, pretty nice little southern town. I'm glad to be back off the West Coast, back in the South where I enjoy living.
Great, man, and we're just glad to have you. So you are a bi-coastal kind of guy. You live on both coasts, as I understand.
Yes, I have. I've spent 20-some years of my career down here with Mid-Atlantic and WCW. Lived in Shelby, North Carolina. Now I got a lot of what I call family in the Vanderfords there in Union County.
Sure.
Union, South Carolina. A lot of great people that I met through the Outs Club and stuff like that. And I just love the pace compared to California. It's so much easier people could deal with people here.
Right, a little bit more laid back, as it were. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Well, Manny, tell us about some of your history. Tell us about before wrestling. I know you played a lot of football, and we're big into sports. Tell us how all that went about.
Well, I grew up. My mom was a great athlete when she was growing up out of high school. She raised 8 children on her own, and she taught us all how to play sports. Which, so she taught me how to play certain things. I was a great baseball player until I saw a little game on the side with people with helmets on.
Yeah.
And I was a great catcher and an all-star catcher when I was playing baseball and stuff. But I kind of liked that game because I saw people hitting each other and not getting in trouble. I remember when I was a kid growing up, I hit somebody and got in trouble.
It's always a plus not to have to pay for it, right?
So my mom taught me how to play that sport. And actually, my autobiography is part of that book is my mom because she went to Sleda High School in El Paso, Texas, and they were back-to-back state champions 3 times in football.
Oh, wow.
One of the biggest high school football teams in the state of Texas.
Wow.
Yeah. And she got a 3-point stance, lined up against me, and knocked me on my butt, head over heels. And I got up, almost cried. You stand up and cry like that, you'll never play a man's game. So
yeah.
That was the last time I did that.
Yeah, I understand. And so then you went into, you got into college ball?
Yeah, I did great. I had a great high school career there at Lincoln High School, wrestling and football. State champion wrestling a couple times.
Oh, so you did some amateur wrestling?
Oh, I did a lot of amateur wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And how did you like that? Did you enjoy that a lot?
I loved it. What people understand when I tell people that want to be good football players, take wrestling. Teaches you balance and speed.
Sure.
Somebody cuts your feet out from under you quick enough to sprawl out and get right back on your feet.
Yeah.
Especially if you play linebacker like I did.
Now,
that's what people do.
Do you feel like that helped you later in your career when you got into the professional side of it?
It made it so much easier because one great legend named Jack Briscoe told a good friend of mine, says, what was so easy when Manny Fernandez was a rookie, he was a natural.
Yeah.
It was just natural for him to get into things.
Sure, yeah.
And basically that's what it was. Most of your amateurs, Kirk Angle, Lesnar before he went to the UFC.
Sure.
Steve Williams, God rest his soul, him. Yeah. A lot of the amateurs adapted to pro wrestling because it was so easy for us. We just had to quit the shoots down and become pro style.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had to learn how to do a little bit of work, as we say.
Yeah, adapt.
Yeah. Now tell us about Navy SEALs. I was fascinated to hear about your Navy SEALs.
It's the funny part about it. Somebody was telling me, you need to read this Wikipedia. Some guy wrote something about that. And, a Navy SEAL commitment is 6 years.
Yeah.
And I knew once I made All-American Junior College and my mom got sick, there was another call. I had a great sports life.
Sure.
Growing up since I was 10 years old.
Sure.
And when Vietnam was still going on, and in California, there in Berkeley and San Francisco, it was one of the worst places for protests of the Vietnam War.
Right.
And we saw it daily with people on San Jose State University, where I was lived close by and stuff. Mm-hmm. That stuff just got on my nerves, and I decided, you know what? My uncles did it during World War II. My grandfather did it during the Spanish-American War. I said, man, I'm just going to serve my country.
Yeah. Even
though I had offers to play anywhere in the Pac-10.
Right.
Could have went to every Pac-10 school there was in the Pac-10.
So you decided you wanted to serve the country,
serve my country.
and do the thing.
I joined the Navy figuring, I'd go to one of the naval schools and become something like that. But the Navy's boot camp was so easy, and I just got through winning the state title in wrestling.
Right.
And I went in condition. I was already in shape.
Sure. Yeah.
So some of these guys that showed up in the military there, they weren't in shape. They weren't in condition, and they couldn't take the walking or the marching or the running or the push-ups and sit-ups. So that was easy for me. So they made me master at arms. Wow. It was so easy. I just got out of line because these guys were crying one night about wanting to go home. the Navy. This is the Navy. This is
don't
not
go
the
home.
Army. It's not the Marines. They're not mistreating you. They're showing you how to fold your panties. Because these guys, they had to have panties because they were crying in the middle of the night. And of course, I walked up and slapped one of the guys, told him, "Hey, stop crying. You're waking up." And I was master of arms of the barrack.
Yeah.
I said, "You're waking up all the other recruits."
Yeah.
And so he turned me in. I got in trouble, got captain's mask for it the first time.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into the SEALs. One of the guys that was there saw me getting captain's mask, which captain's mask is a various jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups. And I just went through everything. It didn't bother me. I'd get up and finish, do some more. And they couldn't blow me up. And that lieutenant from the SEALs, which I didn't know what that emblem meant, he just saw me, kept getting up and going and going and going.
Sure.
So he wanted to know if I could swim. I said, "Heck yeah, I could swim." So they put me through a battery of tests, how to survive with my own military-issued clothes, my dungarees and all that. And I passed all that. So I went on, became a Navy SEAL with a 6-year commitment. One of the hardest things I think it was when we graduated SEALs and we got our first orders to go off the coast of Vietnam. First we had to go to Guam and train in Subic Bay in the Philippines to finish our jungle fighting training. And then we got orders to go off the coast of Vietnam, do evac. In 75, it was called April Wind. And we went out there and we pulled everybody on. Just like I said, the guy in Wikipedia was saying, well, the Marines did evac. Yeah, the Marines were in the embassy.
Right,
they run the embassy.
Sure.
We had to come in to help them get the people out. And the other people that were in there with this, they had the secret file, the CIA people, put it point blank, the CIA people that were in there doing their thing over there in Da Nang and Laos. So I ended up getting people out of Saigon and Da Nang. And I was pretty hot about it. I was just not only because I came at the tail end and we did evac, and I saw what happened before that when I was growing up as a kid.
Sure.
And I was pretty disappointed that we were evacuating all these refugees, but we weren't thinking about all the lives it would cost to do this for these people, to get a free citizenship.
Right, yeah.
So, I was pretty, plus the protests never end, no matter what happened. They would keep going on. When I came home, after we did our service and we got reclassified and stuff, we got debriefed and reclassified.
Sure,
So I got an opportunity to come home. And when you come home as a Vietnam vet, as one of my friends at the Elks told me, his son, his name's Foot, came back and he interviewed him when he come back. And they asked him how they treat you guys. They treat us wonderful when we come back from Afghanistan and Iraq. But why didn't you treat the Vietnam vets the same way? And they took the mic away from them. They don't want to hear no more.
Is that right?
That's right.
I was reading a little bit of your bio before we brought you in here, and you said at one point in another interview that you had a lot of anger when you came back because of all the protesting and the way they treated you guys when you came back. Talk a little bit about that.
The ones that got it worse were the guys that came before me.
Yeah.
The guys were there in the hot time, the 60s, the early 70s. Yeah. I just did evac. Those poor guys went to heck when they come back. I mean, they went through a lot. And, a lot of them committed suicide because of PTSD.
Right.
See, I never knew about that till I was diagnosed with it. Yeah. But what got me so mad is what they did, and it cost me my career as a Navy SEAL because I ended up getting on base, trying to call my mom, letting her know I was home safe. Right. And I got accosted by a midshipman, which is a guy going through officer candidate school, hasn't even got his bars yet. Sure. He's got his little anchor, and jumps on me about you being out of the uniform of the day. Wow. Well, me being me, I lit him up. I got court-martialed. I got busted for E5 to E1, 30 days in the brag. Of course, I got a general. I'm proud because I got an honorable, but it was under general conditions because they had to give me that for a costing a wannabe officer.
Sure, I understand.
That's kind of anger I had.
Yeah, and I like I said, I'd read about you having some, and I think some of that maybe went over into your wrestling career also. But we'll talk about that when we come back. We're out of time for this segment. We'll be right back. More Inside Wrestling Radio coming up next with Manny Fernandez.